Hello and welcome. My name is Jeffrey Kennedy and welcome back to another episode of Elliott Wave Junctures. Today we're going to be talking about Dow theory and specifically a key component of Dow theory referred to as confirmation. Now Dow theory, if you're not familiar with that, was developed by a gentleman by the name of Charles Dow. That was in the early 1900s and he was actually the founder and the first editor of the Wall Street Journal. We also can credit him with the stock market averages or indices and putting together essentially Dow theory, which is a form of technical analysis. Now, one of the key components of Dow theory is that the market averages confirm one another. And what I mean by that is, and typically with respect to Charles Dow in the day, he utilized two averages, the Dow Jones Industrial Average as well as the Dow Jones Transportation Average, or at the time the railroad or rail average. Now what essentially he would look at with respect to identifying, okay, we're in an uptrend and the uptrend is healthy and good and confirmed, what you would essentially see would be, say, the Dow moving up, and at the same time the Dow was moving up, you'd see the transports or the rails move up at the same time. This was what was referred to as Dow theory confirmation. Though as the market moved higher, both indices would have to move up essentially in the same manner to confirm the presence. Now what would happen at times is sometimes you'd see, say, the Dow Jones Industrial Average move up and the transports not move up. Okay, now that condition right there is referred to as non-confirmation, and it tends to be a harbinger of a change of trend. And that's again one of the things that this is what essentially what I'm talking about with respect to today's episode. And a good example of this non-confirmation of this Dow theory non-confirmation condition was back in late 2007, early 2008. Notice that the top price chart right here, the black price bars, that's the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Notice that as we moved into early 2008, we were not making new price highs at that time. Now the chart below it, the blue price bars, that's the Dow Jones Transportation Average. Those are the blue price bars. And notice in 2008, we actually saw the transports make a new high above the 2007 high. Again, it was unconfirmed by what we saw in the Dow, and thus what happened? Well, essentially we saw the Dow get cut in half price-wise. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up now is, well, if we take a look at what's happened, say, over the last couple of months in this market, we have a very similar non-confirmation setup working here. The transports have not made a new price high, but over what we experienced in 2011, but the Dow actually has. So again, what we essentially have here is a non-confirmation. Now the price chart I'm showing you essentially here is a weekly price chart, but this non-confirmation is also evident, or the idea of Dow theory confirmation and non-confirmation is also applicable to the daily chart level. And here's a great example, two good examples that have occurred in late 2011 and so thus far in 2012 would be, for example, the recent highs we've seen here. We actually saw a new price high in the Dow, but again unconfirmed with what we saw in the transports. And also too in say mid 2011 we saw pretty much the same thing, where the Dow was not making new highs yet the transports were, and as a result of that we saw again it was a harbinger of a trend change, which is what it's supposed to do, sizable move to the downside in both markets. Now one thing that we do, technicians do these days, because the economy or the makeup of the economy is a bit different than it was in the early 1900s, we now look at the S&P and the Russell 2000. Again, this is significant. This is the weekly chart level. You'll see the non-confirmation that occurred in 2007 in both markets here, and also too what is currently forming in the market with respect to the S&P making new highs, but again unconfirmed from the point of view of the Russell 2000. Now if you'd like to learn more about a little bit about Dow theory, I encourage you to hit the internet for that. And if you'd like to learn about the Dow theory, specifically the Dow theory non-confirmation currently being exhibited in the Dow and the Dow transports, strongly encourage you to read this month's issue of the Elliott Wave Theorist.